Right.
I had no idea what the hell she was getting into. She was getting into something. And we are streaming on YouTube. Oh, make sure that.
I like to pull the YouTube chat up so I can see the chat there. Awesome. All right. Let's make sure it's muted. It's muted. Okay. Just need to see the chitty chat.
Pull the chat
No,
up.
my God, I'm not going to try YouTube Premium. Get the F off my screen already. Jesus Christ. I don't,
It always does that for me too. I'm like,
I know.
uh,
Until you buy it. Until you buy it and then try to cancel it. That's always a pain in the ass too. Best option is cancel your credit card or your bank card and get a new one.
Yeah, that's a little extreme on that one. Uh,
All right, you say when. I'm ready to go.
I'm trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. Why isn't it streaming on to the Rules of Nerdquisition one, but it's streaming on
Ghost
Ghost Claw.
Claw.
Yeah,
That's
that's
that's where I'm looking at. Yeah.
okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and hit this play button here on the Regia, and then if we get started, we are on the Regia right now. We are on the radio and we're live. I do believe so.
Recording in progress.
Welcome back. It is Saturday, right? No, Sunday, August 29th. August 29th. Jesus Christ.
September
Oh
29th.
my God. It is Sunday, September 29th, 2027. No, I'm kidding. It's 2024. I can't figure things out. We're doing something a little different today. Welcome back to the Rules of Nerdquisition. We're going to do something fun today. I just had a wild hair up my ass because I feel horny and I want to talk about Battlestar Galactica today.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
Gretchen. I am always, as always, joined by Gilbert, the angry IT nerd. I'm so glad that we do this show together. I have so much fun doing it. And I just want to talk about BSG today.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm in a good mood. Not quite as slutty as you are.
Fair.
A little bit, 10% less slutty. You know, hey, it is what it is. But sometimes
It
you
is what it
just
is.
sometimes you just gotta sometimes you just gotta hold it out. That's just all it is to it.
Exactly. And I don't know about you. The reason I got this idea up, this wild hair at my ass, is because I've been rewatching it on Prime Video recently.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, is any series perfect? There could be some arguments about that, but
Mm-hmm.
God, I love this show. I love this show so much.
Oh yeah, because
I,
just like you said, I mean, there's no show that's 100% perfect, and every one of them have their ups and downs. But Battlestar is one of those ones that it will always hold a near dear place in my heart because watching the original one, I was like, it was cool, because I like Cylons, and I've always been the I love the robots. The robots is my jams,
right,
and
right.
in anime, my favorite genre of anime is the giant monsters fighting giant robots in the middle of a city. That's all I need. I don't need any
Yeah,
kind of a plot exposition. I don't need to know any of that shit. I just need a giant robot and a giant monster in a city fighting. That's all I need. How it gets there is how it
exactly.
gets there. But yeah,
Exactly.
that's always been my thing. It's the robots. I love the robots.
No, I mean, it is important to point out that, the original or the remake of Battlestar Galactica, which is what we're talking about today, would not exist without the original. Glenn Larson has done some fantastic things for sci-fi. I'm not going to sell him short there. I mean, I don't know about Boxy and his robotic dog. That's a little weird, but Boxy did get a little bit of a cameo, I guess, in the miniseries, very
Yeah.
briefly.
Yep.
There were no robot dogs though, because I think Ronald D. Moore's remake was a lot more, at least it tried to be more realistic.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that, and I understand that too. Yeah. And I just say out of the two, the original and the remake, I definitely prefer the remake. Um, Not just because I mean just updated or it's just has all the nice the fancy technology and all the stuff like that, but it was a more comprehensive story. Like it actually had a point. Like it wasn't just like just random battles in space. It's just like they had a goal that they were looking
Well,
for, to get to Earth. You know,
right,
yeah.
right, absolutely. And I haven't seen the original, and oh my God, so many years.
Yeah.
What wasn't weren't the Cylons created by some kind of like lizard race or
Um,
something in the original series? They
it's
didn't
been
have.
so long. It's
Yeah,
been so long, and honestly, I'm not sure. I'm not 100% positive on that. We are going to have to consult the Oracle known as Google.
as Google. Right. Well, I mean, I know that you have pointed out multiple times Caprica is a show that you really enjoyed. And
Yeah.
I thought that was a more realistic origin story for the Cylons.
Yeah. Yeah.
He
And
created them. They gained sentience, just kind of like in a Skynet sort of way. They
yeah.
they
And
went crazy. We went to war. We chased them away, and then they came back and like you remember that time you were an asshole? Yeah,
it's like,
we talked
hey,
about that.
yeah, yeah, and I can see it, and that's part of the reason why I really do like Caprica because it gave more of a instead of a random, oh, we just created a new robot and it can think for itself. It's like no, it's
Right.
a gradual process. It's not like, oh, we just made it and oh, we made one that looks like a human. Oh, we made another one that big bulky one. No, it's little by little, and it almost to affect like it almost like mirrors what's going on today with AI. And just kind of yeah, little by little, starting with AI, and then it'll gain sentience, and then it'll start you know spreading across and building its own bodies, and then it'll start building ships, and it'll start spreading out into the whole galaxy. So it's
Right. And as we've talked about in our last few reviews of various original series Star Trek episodes, AI has kind of been a topic of point recently, and
mm-hmm.
maybe not a bad idea. Like I said, I just been kind of watching BSG and thought, hey, let's do something fun. Let's do something outside our normal format and talk about a really cool show because we are trying to branch out into multiple genres. As you can see by our cool backgrounds here, we're trying to
Right,
talk about
yes.
all the fun stuff here. I watched the original Stargate movie the other day. But I mean, I don't, there's just something about Battlestar Galactica, the remake. And before we get into it, I just want to go on record and say that, and I know I've talked to you about this before. Glenn Larson is also the creator of Knight Rider. And if you'll
Mm-hmm.
remember that Knight Rider or Kit Knight Industries 2000 had the little
Had the infrared sensor that went back and forth, and you heard the boom boom.
swishy swish.
Yeah.
Yes. Glenn Larson did once posturize or postulize, I guess is a better word. That Kit was built from uh, what do you call that when you take a piece of tech and you tear it down to learn how it works? What do you call that?
Oh. Um. Re. No. No.
I can't remember the name of the word now.
I
Oh
cannot
my
remember
God.
it either. Any other
Yeah,
time, it would have been absolutely no problem.
Right. You find a piece of futuristic technology, you tear it down to learn how it works so you can build it yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about. The
Yeah.
nerds who are listening know what we're talking about. We're
And,
gonna like
and right now
scream.
we're probably infuriating all the rest of the nerds. Like, is this? Why don't you know it?
Yeah, and we're gonna scream the word out in like 30 minutes when it comes to one of us. Just like, hey,
Oh,
that's
that's it. That's how it always goes. Reverse engineering.
reverse. Thank you. There it is. Reverse engineering.
Yeah. Reverse
So
engineering. So
yes.
yeah, and you know what's funny? Now, years ago, um, when I used to work at a cable company. One of the managers told me that a friend of his actually took a car, took his car, and actually did the whole um, the swiping light, red light in the front.
Yeah.
And he said the way that he did it, so of course he cut a piece out, you know, in the hood, so he could do that. Put a put a windshield wiper motor there and hooked up a light that went back and forth, and then set up the whole little frame for it and glass or whatever the case may be, and then whenever he would crank his car up, it just would go back and forth like that. And I was like, I need that. I need that in my life. I didn't know how much I needed that. I didn't even know it was possible to even do until that.
Yeah. I want to say in the late 90s, I had a friend who did that with his 1992 Chevy Cavalier of all things. He actually he he actually bought a light, two lights inside grill lights that would go back and forth like that. Fun fact:
Mm-hmm.
he got pulled over and cited for impersonating an emergency vehicle. Steve, if you're listening, I know you're not because I haven't talked to you in 20 years. Ha ha. Anyway,
So shoot her a text. Hey, I'm mentioning you real quick in this show. Listen to it. Listen to the whole thing. Matter of fact, listen to all of them. And subscribe to
yeah,
our YouTube.
right. Subscribe to our YouTube. I'm assuming by now you've paid that citation off. I
Yeah,
mean, we're
so
talking it's 2 decades now, sir.
yeah, I mean,
Like, come on.
yeah, and so you can subscribe to the YouTube. Is free. It's free. You don't have to pay for that.
No, you don't. You don't have to pay for that.
But I love this show. I love uh, the original, the remake, and then the Caprica spinoff,
Yes.
and even all of the web episodes.
The web episodes and the movies. In fact, Battlestar Galactica Razor is one of my absolute favorite side
Oh man,
movies.
yeah,
I
that's
am
a good one.
I'm in love with Michelle Forbes anyway. She was a fantastic Admiral Kane. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
she intimidated me. And I like to think I'm not really all that easy to intimidate, but so let me ask you this, Gilbert. When you first heard the show was going to be remade on Sci-Fi, they were going to do that little miniseries. What were your first thoughts about that? Were you trepidatious? Were you excited? I mean, what did you think when you heard Battlestar Galactica is being remade and coming to Sci-Fi Channel?
I have the same reaction as I do with everything else.
Right.
I go in with very, very low to no expectations. So that way, I can only be surprised. I can say it matched what I expected, you know, or anything the case may be. But I usually reserve my judgments until after I see it, because I don't want to say, it's gonna be, it's gonna be, I prefer the
Exactly.
original. It's gonna be this, blah blah blah. No, I watch it first, and then I do my judgment from there. You know, does the story make sense? You know, does that do the is the acting good? I mean, does the events of everything line up? You know, are there the amount of plot holes that are in it? You know, and later on in the series, are those plot holes that were in, like, say, episode 1, are they addressed and in episode say 10, and
Right.
fixed, and then you have different plot holes in episode 10, and are they addressed in like episode 20 or in the next season, or 2 or 3 seasons down the line.
Right.
And so like little things like that, little details like that, and then not only just the fact of the budget that they had to for special effects, and for whatever CGI that they had and they used at the time, and yeah, it just came off as a really, really great package series.
Which we got. I got to say the CGI wasn't bad. Given this is gonna hurt. I'm sorry, my friend. This is gonna hurt. This show debuted 20 years ago.
Yeah.
20 years ago.
Mhm.
2 decades. It's 2 decades old
Yep. Yeah.
when the original miniseries came out. And I mean, I'm sorry. I was hooked with Starbuck running through the corridors like make a hole,
Right.
and they're
Yes.
and kind of just starting off. It's just like God, you sucked me in right away. And we're pretty open minded. People are like, oh my God, they made Starbuck a girl. I didn't get two shits.
Yeah. I was like, well, Starbucks a
Katie
girl. All
Sack-
right, cool.
Katie Sackhoff nailed it.
Yeah.
And by the way, I just want to say that there was a little web short. Oh God, what was the name of the guy who played the original Starbuck? He was from the A Team also. Played Face Man.
Dirk.
Dirk Benedict.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, they did a little. Him and Katie Sackhoff did a little like web show, like two Starbucks
Oh
at
my God, I remember
Starbucks.
that.
You remember that?
that?
Yeah, that was great, man. That was so great. That's like that was fucking cool. And there I dropped the F bomb on our show, but whatever. We can get away with one. We can get away with one.
It's fine. It's our show. We do what we want.
That's right. That's
The
right.
occasional F bomb doesn't kill anybody.
No, and like even in normal broadcast time frames, like cable channels get like one or two that they're allowed.
Yeah.
It isn't well known, but you've seen The Walking Dead, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You remember
absolutely.
you remember Terminus when they got captured? They were in the little train car,
Yeah.
and then
Mhm.
and Rick looks over at the other crew. He's like, they picked the wrong people. They're messing with the wrong people.
Mhm.
They did an alternative version, and I've seen it where he was like, they're effing with the wrong people.
I
I was
didn't
like,
know that. I have to go look
you-
for that now. I'm gonna have to go look for that.
Because it's pretty BA. It's pretty BA. Absolutely. Just to hear Rick be like, they are effing with the wrong people. I was like, oh my dude, I don't
Right.
like you in like seasons 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, but everything up till then is pretty good. It's pretty good. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, in a situation like that, there was a lot more F bombs that would have been thrown out.
Oh yeah. That's
Because
I'm sorry. The world like that. Yeah. I think my whole
Said
my whole like
the whole
vocabulary is like
would be nothing but a string of F bombs.
yeah,
you know?
99.99% F bombs. Absolutely. That's just me running through the world like, what the F? Oh, F. This. F. Exactly. So, back to Battlestar Galactica. We both love this show. It's a fantastic show. It
Absolutely.
kicked off right. Let's continue. Let's talk about the casting. Let's just continue to talk about the casting here. I mean, we got greats in the original, like Dirk Benedict, Richard Hatch, Lauren
Mhm.
Green. We get that. Even Jane Seymour was in the original pilot. She was on the planet Caprica when the Cylons were attacking. She was like a news reporter and doing like, this is blah blah blah, blah, and then she died. But whatever.
Right.
But I mean,
But,
not just Katie Sackhoff, but I mean,
Let me just Katie Sackhoff. Yeah, I mean, she absolutely nailed it. But Edward James Olmos, as Admiral Adama,
yep.
just
Yep.
yeah,
I mean, there's just a whole host of them. And Mary McDonnell as Laura Roslin.
Trisha Helfer. I mean, even
Oh,
though she started out as a modeling, but even though she nailed it as
Trisha.
as a Cylon, yeah.
Trisha, my name is Gretchen. I live in Columbus, Ohio. I'm not hard to find. Whew, anyway. Trisha. And I'm into animals. Like like we want to save the animals.
Trisha.
And
Hey, Trisha. Shoot a
but
shot.
also but
Shoot a shot, Trisha.
but also Michelle Forbes. I mean, like, Michelle, you walk in here and say you belong to me. I'm like, yes, ma'am. Anyway,
So,
mo-
Battlestar
moving on.
Galactica, great show.
Jamie Bamber
Is it Jamie Bamber? Yeah.
as
Apollo.
Apollo, and
Mhm.
my favorite story. I can never remember his name. I got to look it up now. Dr. Baltar.
Oh, Gaius
James
Baltar.
Cal
James
James
Callis, yeah.
Callis. Yes, who
Oh, I
has
hate.
made
Oh, that little smug, slimy son of a. Oh, so many times I wanted to punch him in his face.
But does that not speak to James Callis's
But
acting ability?
yes, that speaks to definitely to his acting. Is that just that's how good he is at it. It just
Mhm.
makes you just want to punch him, and it's like, oh my god.
I read the cutest article, or maybe it was a video where he was talking about, like, he'll go to like Comic Cons or any kind of con, and he's often mistaken for Julian Bashir.
Yes, I can see it. I can definitely see
And
it.
my mom was even saying, she's like, he looks like the doctor from Deep Space Nine. I'm like,
Oh my
and
god, he
even
does. And it's like
he's
once you
made
see it, you
jokes
can't
about it.
unsee it.
No, you can't. And who
But
was that played by? That was played by Alexander Siddig. Yeah,
yeah,
but
Alexander
yeah,
Siddig, yeah, and Michael Hogan, Saul Teague, yeah.
Yeah, Saltai, yeah. Yeah, definitely a favorite of mine. I'm a gamer. I like Mass Effect. He plays
Hmm.
I don't remember the name of the character, but he plays like head of the Citadel Police in episodes 2 and 3, games 2 and 3. So he's
Hmm.
there. He's got that laugh, like,
Yeah, and he'd always kill me with that. God's damn it!
God's damn it, yeah. Look, I said this the other day. I was having this conversation with a friend of mine. When I grew up with my mom, I couldn't even use like substitute cuss words. If I said this frickin' thing or this gosh darn thing, my
Yeah,
mom was like, "It's not what you said; it's what you
it's the
meant."
intention behind it. Yeah,
The intention behind it. So the fact that this show is like to every Gen X mom or Boomer mom out there, like, frack this, go frack yourself, frack off.
yeah.
I mean, to
Yeah,
the
and
point where
it's
I would actually adopt that in real life. Just like TikTok language. Why don't
like, what the
you
frack are you
why,
doing?
why don't you frack off and unalive yourself? I mean, like,
Oh, go frack yourself.
but I loved it. I loved how they did that. And I mean, come on, the miniseries started off with a card game where Starbuck punched Saltai right in his grill.
Right?
Right in the grill. I mean,
Right? I mean, and if you're not in deep space playing cards, you just don't punch somebody in the face. You're not doing it right. You're not doing it right. You know?
no, you're not doing it right
Like,
at
how
all.
many civilized card games have you seen in a spaceship? None. Not one. Everyone always breaks out in a fight from Star Trek. Well, sometimes Star Trek, yeah, because Riker be cheating.
Sometimes, Pleasure. Yeah,
'Cause
sometimes
Star Trek,
Star
because
Trek, yeah.
Riker be cheating. Right, Riker be cheating. Star Wars, definitely. You
Yeah, I
go
mean,
into the cantina in Star Wars, see that shit.
let's not
Let,
forget about, I mean, I don't think it broke out into violence, but certainly bad feelings. The most famous game of Sabak ever played in the
absolutely.
Star Wars universe, that caused the exchange of property
Mm-hmm.
of the most famous starship
Right.
in all of Star Wars. I mean, come
Exactly.
on.
I mean, yeah. How many civilized
Uh,
card games have you seen? None. None.
Now, what do they call that game? Now I want to know. So, Battles BSG card game. What is that? Pyramid. It's called Pyramid
They
or
should be.
Triad.
They should have just kept with poker.
Yeah, because Pyramid wasn't in the reimagining series. Wasn't Pyramid like a physical sport? Wasn't
Yeah.
Starbucks'
Nah.
future husband? He was
Mm.
like a pyramid star.
Mm-hmm.
He was like a sports guy kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, this show just did so. I mean, there are very few shows that I was like, I have to be in front of my TV at 10 p.m. on Fridays
Right.
to watch this show.
Yeah.
Um, from the very beginning, and everything that they did, it was kind of like pseudo realistic. I mean, you went from the miniseries to a whole episode dedicated to them just being chased and not getting any sleep,
Yeah.
to a
Because I
whole
mean,
episode.
well, yeah, I was just gonna kind of piggyback off of that. Just in the real life situations, that it's not always just like um, kind of like in Star Trek where everybody gets a full 8 hours sleep and then they go to work and they get a full 8 hours. I mean, it's sometimes it's not like that. I mean, if you're on the run from killer robots and you're trying to find a place for your planet to live. I mean, you sometimes you can't sleep. You
No, and
can't afford to sleep.
that episode called 33 because the silence would show up every 33 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It
I remember that. Yeah, that was.
prop props to the writers, the directors, the set designers. I mean, the way that you inspired anxiety in me as
Mm-hmm.
though I were on that ship,
No,
like looking at my watch, like tick tock, like, oh, jeez, like, you got to be kidding me.
and not only that, and another thing I loved about the series was kind of how they did their camera work. Where
Hmm.
sometimes where it was, a straight on steady shot, but then sometimes it would switch to more like a handheld where it's like you're there and you're watching it and you see like the whole shaking and stuff like that that's going on, and
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, that was something that was made famous in the Bourne movies. The
Mm-hmm.
handheld cameras, the up
Yeah.
close, like you feel like you're in the fight with Jason Bourne while he's, which
Yeah.
I'm just gonna, while this show is not about the Jason Bourne movies, the Jason Bourne movies, for all of you out there listening, are the most accurate modern day ninja movies ever made. That is exactly what Jason Bourne is. He is a freaking ninja. Period. All right. End of rant. But you talk about this, and since we're just kind of doing a general love letter to Battlestar Galactica, we're not really going in order of episodes, stuff like that. One of my
Right.
favorite scenes um, is after they settle in New Caprica, and
Mm-hmm.
Obama, Adama comes back. Might as well have been Obama. Could have been Obama. Whatever.
Probably.
Admiral
Right.
Obama comes back to save everybody. Does the Adama maneuver? Well, he like jumps into the atmosphere,
Mm-hmm.
falls through the atmosphere, launches all the Vipers, and then
And then,
jumps out again. Like
right.
that was like that
That's
made
the
a girl
Adama.
wet. Yeah, that made a girl wet. But when they're about to get destroyed, they're getting pounded on by these three base stars, and the Pegasus shows up
Mm-hmm.
and it does that quick like handheld camera. You see the Pegasus, the missiles are firing. Here's the Pegasus coming, and there's the handheld camera like pan over of the battle pod, the launch pod of the word Pegasus.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
it's just like, oh God, who is this cameraman? I need to reward him.
Say right. It's like, man, bruh, bruh.
Oh,
Do you
sir.
teach classes? Do you teach classes? I need to know.
Oh,
I need to know because a lot of times, and again, you would see just like with the camera work. Sometimes you would see a character they're just way far off on, like say, in the other side of the room, and then just like how you said, sometimes you're like right up on them where you could see any bats in the cave. You know what I'm saying? So
right, exactly. And that was just primo,
and it
primo camera work right there. I mean, God, that whole battle scene was just
it was just amazing.
insane, insane. I
Yeah,
mean,
and
even we
then
lost the Pegasus in that battle, but still, I mean,
right, and then with the camera work like that, and then I mean, you really get that sense of that you were in it. Oh shit, you're just like, oh my god, what's going on? Yeah, you're shaking and confused and what's going on and everything like that. And then and I said that it's such a good series, and it was so just ups and downs, and just from just like you said that the 33-minute episode, and even even when they were kind of stuck, captured ish on what was it? Was it New Caprica? Or
Yeah,
one of the Cylon homeworlds where they were captured and
yeah. So they
Gaius was
found they found New Caprica. It only
mhm.
had like a thin band around the equator where everyone could live,
Yeah,
and then Galactica and Pegasus were in orbit, and then the Cylons jumped in. Baltar was president; he had just won the presidency because
yeah,
he's the one who gave the order
because
to colonize New Caprica, and then Adama and his and Apollo, Adama, they took the fleet and jumped out,
yeah, and so they
and the Cylons kind of came down and took over.
and so, yeah, it was just that whole just kind of series that just whole kind of that time period of range of episodes of you know guy is selling out the whole colony and then everybody's trying to survive and then now um one of the officers he's in communications back and forth about this of this rebellion that's going to happen and don't know who this mysterious person is and then at the end of everything we find out that is the guy that set up the whole thing to begin with. Gaius Baltar was the one guy that was instrumental in completely ending it and getting everybody away.
Yeah. And Baltar was an interesting character, at least a reimagining version of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you go back to the original series, Baltar was pretty much just an evil guy.
He,
He was
he was
in
a
he was
he was
in
he was a dick.
he
Let's
was
just be
in league
honest.
with the
Let's just honest.
Cylons. He was just like, I'm
He was
here
just
to
he
destroy
was
humanity, blah blah blah.
yeah
This Baltar was more like an unwitting.
yeah. It was more like he was forced into doing the right thing because doing
And I
that
just
is
say that if Trisha Helfer comes here and tries to coerce me to destroy the world,
oh yeah
bye
that
bye
world's
world, bye
gone.
bye bye
I'm gonna
world,
put it to you like
bye bye.
this: if Trisha Helfer say I need you to destroy the world's gone. Not gonna
It's
lie, it's
gone.
gone.
I
It's,
will I will be your Darth Vader, Trisha. I will destroy worlds for you. Okay? I will destroy worlds for you. I'm just putting it out there on the interwebs now. I will destroy worlds for you, my dear. Anyway.
right? So
But they still had so many cool episodes. Like, there was the whole episode where I think it was even called Water, right? Where the water tanks were ruptured, and then they got to find water. There was the
mm-hmm.
episode with the algae where they had to find food. Like, they're facing real world problems in
Right,
space. Like, we're in space with like 50 ships. There's only 35,000 people left. We got to eat. We got to drink. Where are we going to get this shit from?
right. And it's like and we got to figure out we can find little small comets or asteroids or little rocks and stuff like that may have some minerals and may have some materials to work with where you can filter out water or food or something like that. But you got to think about hey, we got to think about 35,000 people and 50 something ships and and everything like that. And so yeah, it gets to a point where it's like, oh, this is not like how Star Trek is, where they just have replicators and they could, just
Right?
do this and they could just kind of do like that. And you realize that even though they had the technology to go out to the stars and they have to that travel like that, where they could just between worlds, where it's I'm not sure if it's faster than light or if it's right at light or just near light, but regardless.
Yeah, I'm not sure what their type of travel is. I'm guessing it's probably similar to folding space.
Right.
They plot a jump and then they set their
Yeah.
engines off and then space goes boop and then boop and then
And they're
they go
there.
from here to there.
Right.
So that's just the way, because it's instantaneous.
Yeah.
It's
So
not
you
like
gotta.
not like
It's not like
warp takes.
warp is like oh, we'll be there in 20 minutes or we'll be there in an hour.
Right,
Whereas with
right.
them,
Because
they'll be in few seconds.
warp, and I just saw a YouTube video or something about this too. They're talking about warp and Star Trek. Star Trek. So you know this. You're nerdy. You love Star Trek. That's why we do this podcast, by the way.
Hmm.
Shocker. So
Right? Oh.
a starship, Federation starship, or any warp capable vessel, it creates a bubble around it, a warp field. That field warps space, essentially dropping the
Hmm.
ship out of normal space time and allowing it to exceed and break, E equals MC squared
Right.
to sidestep that. Because I want to say I had Scotty's Guide to the Enterprise A or something like that, and it had a diagram in it that was
Hmm.
breaking it down and like warp 9 is like 10,000 times sometime or 100,000 times the speed of light, like just ridiculous fast. Just
Right.
I mean,
Yeah. And
where
I
again,
saw one recently
BSG
where
is more like interstellar, fold the space, warp,
yeah,
unfold space, and then you go from here to there.
yeah. I saw recently where one of the which Star Trek man? It was one of the Kelvin ones where I think it was the first one actually. Um, where I know it was one of the writers from Futurama did this because he had an interesting concept of how actually warp worked, where it created the warp bubble just like how it does, but instead it steps out of space and then it's fully stationary, but space moves to where it wants to be. So the ship doesn't actually move; it's space that moves it. But they just kind of step out from space and then step back into it when it moves to where they want it to be. So I
Right,
always thought
right.
that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, and they even kind of touched on that in the remakes of Star Trek. In the first one, when Kirk has banished that planet and he finds
Yeah.
Scotty and alien, and Spock Prime is giving him the equation for warp speed beaming or whatever, and
Hmm.
Scotty's like, "Wow, I never stopped to think that it was space, it was the thing that was moving." Like
Right. And he's like, "Well, I don't think and how'd you figure it out?" So you told me. And it's
right,
like,
exactly.
so it's like one of those surreal things. It's like, oh, Scotty found out, but then Spock is telling Scotty. So it's like, and it sort of like gave him that little cheat code of, yeah, this is actually how you're supposed to do it because you found out how to do it and you taught me how to
Right.
do it.
Right. So the layman's version I found on the Oracle is essentially the warp field that a starship creates bends space it bends space. Or I lost it. Where'd it go? Okay, so it stretches space behind the ship, but it compresses it in front of the ship. So the higher the warp factor, the more compression at the beginning and the more stretch at the end. Warp 10, as they upgraded that, after, from the old series, the original series to the movies, Warp
Hmm.
10 essentially the compression and comparative stretch will be so great that a starship would occupy all points in the universe at the same time. So that would literally be
Man,
instantaneous travel.
yeah, that's instantaneous. Yeah, instantaneous. Oh my
Which
god.
is why in Star Trek talk now, warp 10 is not possible. Warp 9.999999 is the absolute
Hmm.
max. You cannot go beyond that. So,
Right. But then we see in future iterations in Star Trek where they've actually been able to get up to like warp like 12, 13, 14. But
yeah, right. I mean, but I think the barrier is still there. You can put whatever number you want onto it. The
the
fact
barrier
is,
is still the max is that
you
warp.
can still only get that that up
Mhm.
to that speed limit. You can't break it.
Right.
Otherwise, you
So
would
even if it's
occupy
at
all
warp
points.
10, 11, 12, 13, then it's like say 99%, but then it's like 99.1, 0.2, 3, 4, 5, and it's just an infinitesimal of 99.9999999% because it can never get that quite 100.
So one of my favorite things, I don't know, have you seen the movie Ready Player One?
I love that movie. I
Love that movie.
love Ready Player One.
Love that movie. Okay, great. We can be friends. We can still be friends. I not that I had a concern. Not that I had a concern. Um, I mean, all of the references. I mean, from me, I'm a mountain climber, climbing Everest with Batman,
Right?
uh, to
I know that's your jam.
to Mecha Godzilla fighting the Iron Giant at the end of the movie, to
Hmm.
to the Halo Spartans charging into battle. Like, I mean, come on.
Absolutely. I mean, that is a nerd paradise. You know.
Oh, I love that movie so much. Um,
Oh, that's what we should
but
probably we need to do that for plot a holes.
we should. We should. I
Yeah.
mean, it wouldn't be something we could. I don't know if I'd really want to. I don't think I could trash it because I love it so much. Like, I mean, is it a
Nah.
perfect movie? No, but
No, but it's one of those ones that is just it's so much fun and there's so much
oh,
nostalgia in
God,
it.
so much nostalgia. I mean, oh, everything. Oh, but when the dude opens up that box or whatever, he's in the kid's
Yes.
lab, and there's the Battlestar Galactica there. And I'm just
Yes.
like, oh
And it's
man,
like this
oh,
movie, this
this
movie
movie,
here, this
this
this movie
movie.
hits you in all of the nostalgic feels. Just
I don't like the so much, dystopian future of Ready Player One, but can I live in a world where that kind of nerd reverence is a part of everyday life, where everybody knows everything
yeah,
nerdy, and I can just walk up to a dude on the street and be like, "Hey, you remember season 3, episode 7 of Battlestar Galactica, the remake version of 2006? Do you remember?" And he'll be like, "Yeah, that
say
was that
yeah,
episode where this happened." I'll be like, "Bet."
say yeah. I
Like,
love that episode. My favorite part is that 38 minutes and two. Yeah, that
yeah,
part.
exactly, exactly.
And he's like, yes, I knew we were friends for a reason.
Yeah, that's a fabulous, fabulous movie. Gosh, I think we could do a whole episode about that movie on this show. Not just
Yeah.
plot a-holes, just two of us talking about it. But what a fantastic movie. And again, just going back to all the cool things that happen in Battlestar Galactica. Going back to
Mm.
the thought that not every show is perfect. I will say this, the one thing about the BSG remake I didn't care for was what the whole season dedicated to Baltar's trial. What was that, like
That could have
season
been
three?
2 episodes.
Yeah, we could have shortened that down just a little bit, Ron.
Yeah,
Just a bit.
that could have been 2 episodes. I get,
It was
you
dragged out a
wanna
bit.
be thorough. You want to make sure that it is fully explored and told as to why guys Balter was he said, hey, you're free to go instead of get your ass in jail. And
I mean,
I
did
get
he
it.
need to go on trial? Yes,
Yeah.
he did. Did we need 20 episodes of him on trial?
Nah.
No.
We could have
However many it
we
was.
could have shortened that thing down to like 2 episodes, maybe 3. But we didn't need a whole season of. Well, guys did no. We didn't need to know all that. I don't need to know all that. I just need 3 episodes. That's about it.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, it probably is only like 2 or 3 episodes, and we're just remembering it as like a whole season because it just dragged it out. They dragged it out, and
Yeah,
um,
and I will say the one thing I didn't like was when they were on their way to find the Earth, and then uh, Starbuck just all of a sudden just starts going crazy and say going in the wrong direction, and everything of what Katie Sackhoff was doing, everything was just like just confusing. It's like nothing was making sense. Anything that Starbuck was saying didn't make sense. What Starbuck was doing didn't make sense. It just didn't make sense. I
right.
hated it. I flipping hated it until at the end that you realize that she was trying to say, "Hey, this is where we need to go." So that
Oh,
this
there.
heading is going into this direction into space, but Earth is actually in this heading.
I'm going to say this. I realized that All Along the Watchtower was written originally and performed by Bob Dylan. Um, Sorry, Bob. I know it's your song. Jimi Hendrix blew you away, blew you away.
No, didn't.
And when Starbuck jams the key in and turns the thing. She's like, there must be some kind of way out of here. And boom, Galactica jumps and there's Earth. It's like, oh,
Right?
yeah, that
And
was
it's
badass. That was badass. Like,
yes.
come on. And the music just pounding in the back, da 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 da. Like,
Now that part, yeah,
oh,
but
that was hot shit right there. I mean,
that was
because
the one thing I hated. I hated it to just because it just didn't make sense. None of it made sense.
what,
None of
her
what
going
she was
crazy,
saying
you
makes
mean?
sense. Yeah.
Right, right, yeah. No, I get it. Yeah, there were some weird things in there that they didn't like. They bring it up like a season earlier, and you're like, what the hell is going on? And then like a season and a half later, it's like they'll wrap it up in 12 seconds, and you're like, oh, that
Yeah.
I get. But why did you wait
So
so
why wait
long?
that long and why drag it
To-
out like this? And then why it had to be,
Right,
an entire season that could be
right.
explained in 12 seconds?
She goes insane for like a whole season, and then there's one episode where she's having flashbacks to the piano player in the bar. One
Hmm.
episode to wrap it all up, to
Right.
wrap a whole season of psychosis up. Like, what?
And it's
What?
like,
I mean,
so you telling me this whole time you could have played this right at the beginning and I'd have known and I'd have been okay with the whole crazy rantings and everything like that? Just knowing that, okay, this is where she's saying is that, yo, we need to go here, not here. And all the crazy that she's talking is trying to get everybody to, hey, we need to go this way instead of this way. Because then it's like, how would you react if you knew where you needed to go, but you couldn't quite 100% verbalize it? You
yeah,
had,
exactly. Yeah.
let's say 98% of what you could actually verbalize and what say, how would it come out? Kind of like that. We're going the wrong way. We're going the wrong way. Which way we need to go? We're going the wrong way. We didn't gotta go that way.
Right.
So
Yeah,
I mean, it's like,
and
how would you verbalize it?
how would you? And Katie, I got to ask you, nothing but love to you because I mean, you do the motorcycle charity with Trisha Helfer. That's fantastic.
Right, right.
You are Bo-Katan. You are Bo-Katan. Period. Um,
Absolutely.
but but what did work out with you and Carl? I mean, come on. If I'm with Carl, I'm going to try and make something happen. I'm going to try and make that work.
No,
Carl.
so
It's Carl. Coral! Not that
coral,
Carl.
coral, coral.
We're talking about Carl Urban, none other than of Dr. McCoy fame in the remake of Star Trek. Also played Judge Dredd, was also in that
Mm.
movie Pathfinder, where he was like the Viking who was left in the Americas, raised by Native Americans who had to fight
Yep.
the Vikings afterwards. He was Éomer in Lord of the Rings. I mean, come on. Everybody knows Carl Urban, right? Right? We all
Right.
know Carl. Everybody
Now,
knows Coral. We all know Coral.
oh snap! Hang on. I got. Give me just a second. I'll be right back.
Mhm.
Wait. Got to take a pause in the burp. Pause for the cause.
All is for the cause, but still, I mean, just yes, Carl Urban. Like, oh, sir. Also from The Boys and Amazon's series, The Boys. He's definitely very cool in that. I've not seen the whole series yet. I've only seen the first couple seasons, but no, I don't think he showed up in Battlestar Galactica. So he was just Katie's love interest at some point, and that's okay. Maybe it was him that screwed up. Why
Right.
did you screw that up, Carl? Why did you screw up the relationship with Katie? Maybe it was you, sir. You're a man. I mean, it probably was you. You probably did it. You screwed it up. But anyway,
No, I don't.
but that's just how we roll here. All men until it's no men, right? Anyway,
No, she doesn't. Correct.
but there's just something about Battlestar Galactica that I just
All right. That sounds great.
absolutely fell
Thank
in
you very
love
much. I
with.
do appreciate it.
I
Bye.
don't know that they could have gone and created a more seasons out of it. I don't know if they could have done that.
Oh, sorry
Me
about that.
being
I'm so
no
sorry about that.
problem,
I had a really important phone call that came in just then, so I'm sorry
no
to
problem.
apologize to you and to our audience. I apologize. So,
Well, I kept talking, and the only thing I've been kind of really talking about was just that, Battlestar Galactica, the remake series, was only 4 seasons, plus the miniseries, the 2.5, 3 hour miniseries. So
mm-hmm,
it's 5 nights. Would I have liked more? Yes.
mm-hmm,
Was there more to tell of that story? I don't know. I kind of think that they told everything they needed to tell. They got where they needed to go. They told the
right,
story. It had a beginning, a climax, and an end, and they covered all the cool little details in the middle. I don't
right.
know that there was more that they could have done.
I mean, outside of Cylons happening to find them accidentally on Earth, and they decide they're just going to invade, but, other than that, Cylons didn't know where they were going. They didn't even know where they were going. The only one I knew where they were going was just Starbuck, and that was it. And even Starbuck didn't even know where she was going. She just knew it is
Right,
that
right,
way.
exactly,
That's
exactly.
all she knew. It
Um,
was one. It was that way.
but again, I would have liked another season or two. I mean, but again, I
But
think they
look,
told the story I wanted to tell. And just to throw this out here, Peacock's Battlestar Galactica reboot is officially dead.
oh,
So thank the world for small favors.
all right,
It is officially dead.
yeah.
So it was Peacock that was going to remake it,
Mm-hmm.
remaster, reboot, whatever they were going to do. That is officially in development hell and is canceled. So
Okay. Well, I would have put it like this. I would have preferred it to continue where it left off, not
yes,
try to remake it into something else. You
correct.
know, like fast forward it to, well, at the end it kind of went through the whole, timeline of Earth, and it ended with in 2004. You know, essentially, just showing that the modern conveniences at the time that were there. So fast forward in another, 100 years into us being on Earth, and then we discover space travel, and now we're back in the stars, and then who happens to find us but the Cylons that were looking for us, and now they found us, and so it could continue on from there.
Apparently, though, Universal Content Productions is shopping the possibility of a Battlestar Galactica movie. So I could be
Uh,
okay with that if it's a theatrical production, it has nothing to do with the series.
yeah,
Fine. It's a different animal.
I,
Theater
I can I
versus
get behind
movies,
that. Yeah,
different animal. But if there's no need to reboot the show a third time. I mean,
nah.
we all saw Battlestar Galactica 1981. It was bad. It was bad, bad. It was
Right.
bad. I mean,
Or I
like
mean, they could just do
Battlestar and hippies. I mean, come on.
yeah. Or they could do they could do the Star Trek route and make another just spin-off series like they did with Caprica.
They should. They should.
Because I mean, there's just like how it said with Caprica, there's plenty of story with the Cylons and just how they were created and just how they evolved. What's to say that there's
Exactly. Mhm.
now that in the system where Caprica is, that now that Cylons have complete control over it. What's to say that they haven't, created a whole, big reigning empire where now they're gonna take over the entire universe.
Right.
Starting with whatever planet they happen to come across, and then now they building their own empire, and then they get to our solar system, and then when they get to Earth, they say, "We found the humans." Say, which ones? The ones that got away from us and however many years ago.
Yeah, and I would be remiss to not bring up the fact that I would say that Ronald D. Moore is one of those legendary show producers, writers, directors that like I would put him on the same level as Peter Jackson. I mean, we're talking he didn't just do BSG, he gave us TNG, he gave us Star Trek Generations, he gave us Deep Space Nine.
Right.
He's got nerd cred.
Yeah,
He has
absolutely.
official he has official Rules of Nerdquisition nerd cred. I mean,
Yeah. He got the stamp of approval of nerd cred.
absolutely, absolutely. Just some great episodes that he's done. Sacrifice of Angels was one of my favorite DS9. Is that the one with the big battle with the Dominion at the end, near the end of the series, right? Was it
I,
Sacrifice of Angels?
I'm not sure of the name of the episode, but I know what you're talking about.
The big push on
Yeah,
Cardassia, the
yeah.
final, but yep, Sacrifice of Angels, name of the episode. Yep, that's it. So yes,
It
yeah, the
just
big final battle there. Which
that's just weird random. That's just a weird random fact that was just in your trivia fact that was in your head.
my dad watched this show. He's listened to it several times, and he's just like, I am constantly. He says this to me. He's like, I am constantly surprised how much knowledge you have about this kind of stuff. And I'm like, yes, but dad, you can also quote every linebacker who's worn the number 27 for the Ohio State Buckeyes back to 1841. Okay. So I just have a different kind of nerd knowledge because I am a big fan. And this, it's an old Facebook meme. Fantasy football is just Dungeons and Dragons for jocks. That's all it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
a
Now
stat
you
based
say that, now I think about it, yeah.
It is a stat-based role-playing game. Period. That's what it
Yeah.
is.
I,
Because don't tell me that D&D, you've at least played it. I don't know how much you're into it, but I mean, I'm a
I've
D&D
I
veteran.
I'm gonna put it to you like this: every time when people have said something about Dungeons and Dragons to me, they always assume that I played and I love it. I don't. I've seen it played, and I understand the whole concept and the game behind it, and all of the memes and the jokes of the
Right,
the
right.
role thing or whatever. I get all that. I just not me. Just not into it.
And that's fine. That's why I didn't assume that you were play, but I assumed enough that your nerd cred and nerd experience enough to understand it and have
Oh
been
yeah. Oh
around
yeah.
it at some
Oh yeah.
point. So yeah, but still, yeah, that's all it is. I mean, and anyone who's ever been around or played Dungeons and Dragons knows that it's a numbers game. That's all it is. And a bunch of people sitting around going, well, designing the most beautiful people they could possibly be, which I don't fault them for that. I imagine myself more beautiful than I am. But at the same time, like, okay, I'm going to roll this dice. Now I got to do math to figure out how to kill this dragon. Like, why can I just swing a sword? I don't want to do math. I do math
Right.
for a living. Why would I do
Like
that?
like my if I were to play Dungeons and Dragons, it would be like that Key and Peele skit, that Key and Peele skit where
Yep.
he's like, I want to be a giant. Well, you can't be a giant. Giants are chaotic neutral. But I want to be a giant though.
I want to be a
All
giant.
big. I want to be a giant. Yo, I want to drive. I want to be in an SUV. You know what? Like that would
I
be.
actually, yeah, I was actually talking to our friend DT last night in a live on TikTok, and he's a big Magic fan.
Hmm.
I never caught the bug for Magic. It's just even being a former D&D player, I never caught the bug. I'm also, yes, he tells me you don't have to pay this much money anymore, but Magic started as a money suck. And I know a lot of people who spent
Yeah.
more money than they should have on cards in that game. Anyway, that being said, the only game I did like, there is I actually have it in my closet here. Star Trek The Next Generation card game, but it has a board with pieces. So the cards go hand in hand with the board, and you don't have to buy packs. All the cards for the game came with the game itself.
Oh,
That
okay.
game is fun. If
Yeah.
you like Star Trek and it's kind of like think of like Star Trek with risk and a little bit of role playing in it,
Okay. All right.
Magic
Yeah.
style. But you can sit down and play a game with a friend for an hour or two and be done. Where D&D is like, we're going to have a campaign every Sunday night at 7:30 p.m. for the foreseeable decade. Like, no, no.
Like, can we just wrap this thing up in like 2-3 hours? You
Can
know?
we can we can we just hang out, get high, and play Star Trek and be like, oh, that was cool, man, and get out of
Yeah.
here? Like, all
And,
right,
and you know, and I
thanks.
get it. I get about the whole magic, it being a money suck, because I used to work at EB Games
Uh-huh.
years ago. Ooh,
Any
this is
of
like
those
in the '90s. I used to it,
Pokemon, Pokemon,
but
Digimon, Magic, all of them, all those collectible card games were
but
the
oh
same.
yeah, like Magic wasn't money suck, Digimon, but the biggest money one, that was Pokemon.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
when Pokemon came out, there, Jesus Christ, could
yeah.
never keep Pokemon cards on the shelf. As soon as
Nope.
that when Pokemon came out, and then the card came out, oh my God, and the video game started coming. Jesus Christ! If you want to make money, you just slap Pikachu on it, and you made millions.
I get in trouble all the time when people say when I tell people I'm like I don't really like Ryan Reynolds all that much. He's not my like I don't swoon over him like other people do. But then they're like, "Do you like him in anything?" I'm like, "Yeah, he was freaking awesome as Pikachu. I loved him in Detective Pikachu. I love that movie." You know what I mean?
Honestly, I wasn't sure if I was going to like it or not. Um,
It was
just
good.
simply
You loved it.
because I
You liked it.
but oh yeah, of course I liked it. Yeah, it was just Ryan Reynolds is just it just made the whole movie just because of just all this little snarkiness, and you
Hmm.
don't hear it because all you hear is just Pikachu, Pika, 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 and then when you actually hear what he says, it's like, look, kid, I know you don't hear what I'm saying, I know you don't understand what I'm saying, but I'm going to tell you like this: you mess with me, I'm gonna shock the shit out of you.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, that's a great move. We'll have to talk about that too because I did get into the Pokemon craze. I was in my early 20s when that happened, mid 20s when that happened. I remember going to a Pokemon tournament at a local mall about an hour from here and beating all the kids. Like here I am, a 25-year-old person hooking up link cables to these little 12-year-old kids and beating the crap out of them. I ended up giving my badges to my oldest kid because I felt bad. Like, 'cause I beat all these 10 and 12-year-old kids at this mall meetup. But
That's
anyway,
hilarious. But
so back to Battlestar Galactica. I'll give you a second to think about this. Favorite scene. It can be from the series, it could be from the miniseries, the television series, or from any of the spin-off movies, or even Caprica. Do you have a favorite scene and why?
mm, out of all of the movies, the web shorts, the series, and everything, there's only one scene that it always pops into my head, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because of just kind of if I would put myself in that situation, I know what I would do
Okay.
because I'm a baby back bitch about this, stuff like this, right? It was a scene where the the guy that made the Cylons, that made the original Cylons, before they gained sentience, on Caprica, and was getting ready to get it to where they were going to start doing skin jobs. But at this point, his daughter died, and her consciousness had somehow got moved into a Cylon body. And
Right,
so
right.
here's
Yeah.
this teenage girl as a huge honking Cylon, and the dad's trying to see whether if that is his kid because he has suspicions that it's his kid, but not saying anything. Kid's not saying anything, not
Right,
twitching,
right.
not moving, not doing a damn thing. Me, I know instantly. I would have been fidgeting. I'd be doing kind of rocking. I would look back. I'd be looking all around and shit. And they would say, "Pull your arm off." And she pulled her arm off and didn't flinch.
Yeah,
I couldn't
that
do
was
that.
intense.
That was intense, and I know
It's
for
intense.
whatever reason that just always
I
sticks
didn't.
out, and I know I would fail. I
I did
know
not
I would
even
fail.
think of that scene, and wow, you're right. Oh, man.
And it's like I know, and even though I know the body, I wouldn't be able to feel it. You know, it would just feel weird. It would feel like, it would still feel like it's there, but it'd be like one of those ghost limbs. And I know my arm would be attached back on and everything would be fine.
Right.
Logically, my brain would know that. But it's just the fact of going through the whole shock and trauma of just like pulling my own arm off. That's what
To
would.
show that Cylons are even more badass than the Borg. Because I seem to recall Dr. Crusher one time saying, it's like asking one of us to pull off an arm or a foot. We can't do it. Oh, the Cylons can do it.
Right? Clearly, they could do it.
They can do it.
But yeah, that was.
Cylons versus the Borg. Bye bye, Borg.
So,
Y'all done. Y'all done.
I'm sorry. And I love the Borg, but
I love the Borg. I
but
love
against
the
the
Borg.
Cylons,
Cylons are all individual and creative thinkers, though, so it's not like one collective. Yes, the collective has its advantages, but you have an entire robotic race that has all of the
right,
advantages of being machines and the creativity and adaptability of an organic living creature.
right, exactly. And so all the Cylons would need, they would just know is that, okay, hey, yeah, they're all a hive mind. So where's the the queen, or where's the controller, or where's this, where's that at? And so then they would just all just have to look for that controller. They would know just to take that one out, and boom, everything is
Well, and
done.
if you go and you look at, say, let's say, watch First Contact, the scene where
Hmm.
Picard and Lily they go into the holodeck and he uses the Tommy gun, the holographic Tommy gun, to kill the Borg. And he says, even in the holodeck, if the safety protocols are disabled, a holographic bullet can kill, which insinuates that the Borg are highly efficient against energy weapons, but
Hmm.
not so much against physical projectile weapons. And I'm sorry, the Cylons are going to jump in and launch every freaking nuke they have.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
that, yeah,
we will nuke you out of existence. Come on.
pretty
But for
much.
me,
So yeah. I mean, it's just like I said.
from
Yeah, they're great. The Borg is great against energy weapons, but against projectile weapons, that's a different story. You
I
know,
mean, yeah, you look at all the episodes where Worf and Riker they're shooting at the Borg, and then they're killing them, and then one of them adapts, and the shields go up. What's the next thing that Worf does?
boom,
Hand to hand
what?
combat.
He hits him
Hand to
with the
hand
butt of the
combat.
rifle, or and then all of a sudden,
Right.
Worf starts throwing fists.
I do love, and you've seen Picard, right? Have you watched all three seasons of Picard?
Yep,
Very
absolutely.
end when hands the sword to Riker, and Riker's like, God, this thing is heavy. You know, and,
Right.
and then there's like there's a phaser in the handle, and Riker's like, "What? There was a gun, a phaser in here all the time." And Worf's like, "Swords are fun."
Right.
Yeah. But I would say for me, when it comes to Battlestar, I absolutely love. I do love Razor and the Plan. Those are two awesome side movies. Very the Plan is very intense as far as the initial onset of the war,
Mm-hmm.
and Razor really highlights what Pegasus went through during the same time period. But the
Right.
3 episode arc with Admiral Kane, from Pegasus showing up, the trial of Tyrrell and Hilo, and then the
Yeah.
assault on the resurrection ship, to leading to Michelle Forbes, Admiral Kane assassination at the hands of one of the number sixes. So that moment when Admiral Adama, or at the time Commander Adama, is walking down the hallway, he's talking to Callie, right? Isn't that Tyrrell's future
Mm-hmm.
wife? she's a deckhand on the,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and the call comes over, and Adama's on. She's like, "What do you mean they had a trial? When did it start?" And then I would be remiss without bringing up Bear McCreary's fabulous fucking soundtrack on this show.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, God.
The
It
drums, the dum 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 dum. I mean, like, come on, man.
it just makes you know that, and that's just another one of those things. Just like with the camera work, it's like, oh yeah, 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 and then when you're going into a battle, and
Yeah,
you hear those drums, and you hear it, it's like, oh shit, we're in for a fight.
yeah. He calls up to the bridge. He's like, "Launch alert, Vipers! I'm on my way." And then you've got the Pegasus Vipers and the Galactica Vipers, and the drums just pounding. They're just flying towards each other. That cliffhanger, I was like, "No, you didn't do that to me. I have a whole week." Like, no,
And the
God,
first
why'd
thing
you
you
do
think
that
is
to
like,
me?
God's damn it.
God damn it. But that was fantastic. I mean, just phew, hardcore,
But
hardcore.
yeah, oh yeah, that's a great scene.
We're
Oh,
we're
that's
all
great.
friendlies, but we need to be friendly. So let's just be friendly. When she shows up, Starbuck in the
Still all
in the uh
friendly.
the Blackbird, yeah, the stealth ship. Let's just be friendly.
And every now
It-
you would just get gems like that. It's just so great.
yeah, fantastic. I mean, and we'll get back to our regular regular programming going forward as far as reviewing Star Trek episodes.
Then
We're also still working, talking to Tom McLaren and Steve Warnock. I mean, these guys have and are doing things for us that are just fantastic. So again,
oh
to be
yeah, so
remiss once more to not mention them.
right, so yeah, and definitely. Oh, when Helios comes out, no. Oh, we gonna have to review those.
Ladies and gentlemen, there will be an extended break of TOS reviewed episodes
Let's
while Gilbert and Gretchen nerd out
with Helios,
with
over
Helios.
Helios, about Helios.
I
We will treat it with loving care.
I
We
listened
won't.
to the first three episodes
Mhm.
on Friday twice each.
Yeah. And we won't treat
Just while
Helios. We won't treat
I was just
Helios like a Diddy party. It won't
I
happen.
was just no, it won't happen. I was just working and I listened to those first three episodes because you and I have special access to additional episodes that may not be entirely produced yet. They're not completed yet.
Mhm.
But the post production is not done. No, you guys can't have it. That's
No,
why we're special.
say
That's why
no
we're special.
because we're special. We're special.
Right. But even just the raw audio and some of the unproduced or unpost production stuff.
It's amazing. It's so the acting. That's one of this is one of those ones where it's the story and the acting is what catches you.
Yeah.
The whole CGI and the special effects and all the other stuff like that, it's all cool and all great and everything like that, but it's the story.
Mhm.
It's the story and the acting is what gets you just so enthralled. And it's not something that you could just have in the background and play. It's like no, you get involved in it. You get you
I
want to
feel it.
know. Yeah.
I feel it in the acting of the voice actors, and that is
Hmm.
saying something. I have always, for many years, had trouble with like audiobooks. I just don't feel
Mm.
like a lot of the time the people reading the books to me, and it's great if I'm driving 8 hours. I'm going to
Yeah.
Massachusetts next month. I'm going to be listening to audiobooks when I'm driving, but they don't speak to me. It's just kind of like once
Just
upon a
kind of
time
yeah.
there were three little chipmunks hopping through the forest. A nut fell out of a tree. It was rainy, and this one squirrel said, no, whatever.
But
The
you add some emotion into it, and and it's something that gets your attention. and it
Yeah.
gets you hooked, and you hear that inflection in their voices, and you hear the anger, or you hear the sadness, or you hear the despair, or or even
No,
it's just them just hanging out. You hear that. It's like, wow.
the narrator. Okay,
Right? The narrator himself.
the narrator, Nick Tate himself. The
Nick,
narrator
the
is has.
man Tate. The man himself, Nick Tate. Jeez. Oh,
We're
he's
not even
so
getting
good.
into Cindy and Anthony and Dominic and Connor and Tom and just Tori and just all these people in this show. Just
They're so good and they're so talented, and it's such an amazing, amazing story. Oh my
we,
god.
we we've made the joke before. I'm going to make the joke again because I hate to say it. Well, I don't hate to say it. I actually kind of like it. It's not really a joke. This may at one point become a Helios podcast.
Yeah.
That I'm not underselling it when I say that Gilbert and I were blown away by this. And I'm going to be honest. When I was told about it initially, I was like, okay, well, I mean, I liked it as some Star Trek alum and stuff like that, but I'm not really into audio dramas. I'm just not. I was not sold when you told me about it, but I'll give anything a chance. When I got divorced
Mm-hmm.
in 2014, I said there was nothing in this world I will not try before I say I don't like it. And I tried it, and I was like, you know, the text I sent you. I was like, I think it was "What the f."
Right?
That was like, what was that?
Right? Yes.
And this is saying something because as a Batman fan, that's the same feeling I had when I walked out of Batman Begins. I had no idea
Mm-hmm.
what I was walking into. They've been rebooted a billion times. They all sucked at that point. Joel Schumacher had taken a giant crap on the whole series, and I walked out of Batman Begins, and I was like, "What the hell did I just see? What was
Yep.
that?" And
Right?
that's what I felt with Helios. Like, wow. So we're not stroking anybody. We're not fluffing anybody up. We're just telling you, Tom, Steve, Cindy, Nate, or Nick, I'm sorry, everybody in the series.
This is
It's
it's
impressive.
it's amazing.
It's impressive.
And I know for a fact the second that it is done and is produced and it drops, it is going to be an instant hit. Absolute instant. And
I can't wait to see a movie in the future, to be honest. But
oh, I'm full on waiting for either the Netflix series or the Amazon Prime series. One of
we'll
those
get there.
two.
And Steve, still get us some
We need some
Helios
merch.
merch. I will buy it. You don't even have to give it to me for free. I just need access to some merch so I can wear it to GalaxyCon and some other conventions to get this project out there. I am not involved in this project. I take no credit for this project. All I do is love this project and I believe in it and I want to
But
share it with
and we
people.
want to push it out.
And as soon as we can do that, we would
We
love to do that. So
absolutely. Oh,
I'll make
that is
sure.
such a great show. And anybody that's listening, I know maybe things that are going on and on and on about this probably say, "Oh God, why are you talking about?" You'll know why. You
You'll
will know
see.
why. The second that
The
you hear it, in
the
less than a
episodes,
minute, you will be hooked.
they're not even that long. 15, 20, some 30 minutes. I mean,
No,
they're
not even 30 minutes. They're at the most. I think they're like 20.
20 something. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's just like you're listening and it's like, it's over already? What?
yeah. And it's like, wait, hold up. No, no, no.
I
I
didn't
need
even
more.
realize.
I need
And
more.
I'm of TikTok origin. Like I can hardly watch most of my friends less than 1 minute videos. But then I listen to this 15, 20 minute audio drama and I'm like, it's over
It's
already?
over. I
What?
need more. What?
Where I'm just
Hold up.
like, I'm scrolling TikTok like, oh, yeah, yep, I see it. Oh, sure, cool, whatever. Right.
And so you sort of just nope, nope, nope.
We are huge fans, and I know that Tom was saying they had what or are going to have a big blowout We
Mm-hmm.
got thing in Britain,
Yeah, the
Europe, London,
big
something.
production party type
Yeah,
of, I guess, premiere wrap up production type of just party. I guess I don't know what else to call it.
just you guys have a great time doing that. You deserve all the accolades. And as soon as we can promote and start reviewing these episodes, please let us know because we will give you all the props. That's just well deserved.
Because yeah, absolutely,
That
absolutely.
is why we have, I mean, look at our thing. I mean, we've got the big names, Star Trek, Galactica,
Yeah,
Star Wars, Stargate, and that's
da
there
da
for
da
a reason.
da.
It's there for
Helio.
a reason.
It's there. Yeah. I mean, the only reason is just those because I couldn't fit all of
Right, right.
all sci-fi series there. You know, like you're one of my favorites is Warehouse 13. Um, Eureka. I love Eureka. I love Warehouse 13, but I said Warehouse as one of my
Well,
absolute favorites.
we need to do some love letter episodes to them too. And again, I love Battlestar Galactica. My apologies, Ronald D. Moore, that we got sidetracked. But sir, Ron, you should go listen to Helios.
You should.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. You know, if somehow you could work something out with Steve and you could bring in a Cylon or two in there, I'm just saying.
No, I know I sound like a complete suck up to Steve and Tom if you even I'm gonna clip this actually and put it on our Facebook page. Maybe they'll see it. But I know I sound like a complete suck up, but I really just enjoy the show. That's it. I want a shirt because I want t-shirts of properties that I enjoy. Like I have Star Trek shirts, I have Star Wars shirts. Why would
Mm-hmm.
I not want a Helio shirt? Or some flyers to pass out when I'm at GalaxyCon in December. You know,
Yeah.
just to say, hey, uh, some cool people I know made this show, and you should check it out. Here, read this. Go to this website. Whatever. Business cards. I don't care. Anything. But
So yeah,
yeah,
just give him like
that was our
a big gift package, just here, 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 here.
right, right, and that was our Battlestar Galactica love letter episode, hijacked by
Helios.
Helios.
But don't get
And
us
maybe
wrong.
next.
This is all stuff that we love. We love Helios. We love Battlestar. You know everything with all these properties. We love them. So
Yes,
that's why we're talking about them. And again, we don't care if you like them or not. We love them, and you're gonna love them too.
and we're
Otherwise,
going
we're
to talk
gonna
about it,
otherwise we're gonna show up at your houses and make you watch them until you love them.
and we're going to talk about it anyway, whether you don't love them, because we have a radio station
Yeah.
and we can do what we want.
Yeah.
So.
So we could do that.
And this has been the Rules of Nerdquisition. Got it right on the first try because I didn't. I
Boom.
don't know if I said it in the original in the opening.
You got it
Broadcasting
right
live on
first time. Thank you.
GCPR.live. Yeah, broadcasting live on GCPR.live. We're looking to hit the 3 o'clock time zone
So
and stick with that for the
yeah.
most part.
I think
This has been a
we can get
bo-
that. We can maintain that. I think we can maintain that. So yeah.
this has been another bonus episode, as we did have Tom McLaren on last episode. You can check out our Facebook page, The Rules of Nerdquisition, and you can see that episode. Go to at Rules of Nerdquisition at youtube.com. Check out our previous live broadcasts and videos that Angry has been uploading to that channel. Any questions, you can reach out to us at rulesofnerdquisition at gmail.com, and we'll be happy to talk about anything that you love, as long as it includes Helios. That being said, I am Gretchen, and I have no more to add to this show. I will turn it over, as always, to my gallant first officer for the final debrief for today's episode.
Oh well, today was fun. Today was fun. You know, I love Battlestar. I love. I think we need to do a lot more of these love letters. You know, to all these different properties that we love. And I would just like to say, it's been a great time. Always love it. You know, coming up later on, you can join us back here at GCPR for the Villains View. And coming up next, after us, we have Jeff Kennedy with the Kennedy Effect. And after that will be you'll see our beautiful faces again on the Villain's View, and we'll have Dave the Viking on, and we'll be talking about just stuff, whatever's happening in the week. I'm sure some topics of Diddy and baby oil and dildos will come up.
Hurricanes.
Nope. Pause. And yeah, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna have a lot of jokes. So come back later. Matter of fact, you know what? Don't even come back later. Don't leave. Just stay
Don't
on
leave.
JC show. Just stay here.
Stay here.
Stay here.
Well, we're
And we
hoping to
love
fill
you.
the whole. We're hoping to have 24 hours of broadcast eventually.
We gotta get there.
I'm
We're
thinking
getting
all the
there.
way around.
We're gonna get there. But to everybody, love you all. Always remember to keep your triples spayed and neutered. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you later. Coming up next, like I said,